Good morning, everybody. Let me get set up real quick. It takes 2 seconds. I switched to landscape view. Oh my gosh, what's happening? Apparently, and this is kind of fun. So today, for whatever reason, maybe it's landscape view. Good morning, Mama. Landscape, yes. So I'm going to be super distracted by myself. Captions are automatically populating on my laptop where I'm watching to see comments and whatnot. So I need like a little blinder so I don't see what's happening over there. Let me know how you like the landscape view better than the portrait view. So yeah, today I'm going to just show you guys real quick. I didn't end up painting the back sides, but here's our cute little Easter egg rocks we painted yesterday. So these would be super cute just laying out in the yard. There's that one. And then here's our little chickadee with coming out of his egg. I added a nose and then some, I think I did that yesterday on the video actually, but he's dry now so I can handle him. So yeah, I just added the Sharpie and stuff after he dried a little bit. So let me jump on real quick and, turn volume down. Goodbye. All right. I'm going to show you real quick again, blackdogpottery.net. Go on here, hit shop online. Maybe. This did this to me yesterday too. Okay, there we go. Shop online, scroll to the bottom, join our email list. And then so that I sent out some fun coupons for First Friday. So if you're on that, you'll get some different things. Here's the link. Click on this link to buy an e-gift card. And then our link here is for donations for supporting the live videos. And you get a fun little care package that I'm still kind of working on. If you've already donated, thank you so much. But I have ordered stickers and they are, I don't know when they're going to ship. They're like, will ship. They're non-essential, so they will ship when they can. But they're on order, so I'm assuming as soon as everything comes through, they will be on their way here and then on their way to you guys. But I've been working on these fun little care packages. So here's the sticker here. So it's a good size sticker, vinyl. I have one on my car, on my laptop, on my water bottle, and then there's the cute little 10% off coupon that you'll get. And then I'm working on some matching stationery. I'm headed to the shop today to get my Black Dog Pottery stamp to go on there, addresses. So yeah, just kind of making a fun care package to send out to thank you guys for supporting me. I will show you, I posted a thing yesterday on Facebook and Instagram for doing the Easter eggs. So this is this. So if you want to do a gift card inside an Easter egg, since we're unable to be open and sell physical cards, you can print it out. I printed it out at 75% and then cut it down to just like the size of the text, and then I rolled it up and put it in a plastic egg. So that's a way to, still do a gift card. They'll be usable once we open up again, obviously. And then let's see, anything else? So today I'm drinking out of one of my new mugs. So I bought this stamp and it's kind of like a Pacific Northwest vibe. And so it's, I just pulled this out of the kiln last night. So yeah, I just thought I'd try it out. I've been trying out these new glazes too. So everything I do here, this one's kind of funky. This is why I'm using it, because it got kind of just some fun, funky bubbles in it. And I'm using a brand new glaze on the inside, which when I did this, I didn't realize was a matte glaze, or I didn't think about it being a matte glaze, because I don't usually have matte glazes in my stoneware. So it's kind of an interesting mouthfeel. That's why, it's kind of weird to have the matte glaze on the inside. But that's why I am trying it out for myself, because I like to test my product before I put it on the shelves. Guys, it's kind of weird with you guys landscape because my camera is over here, and I keep looking at myself talking over here, so that's why my eyes are all shifty. So anyways, having my coffee, good morning coffee. I got my little JK stamp, and then all the mugs I make, I put a little paw print for Black Dog Pottery. And then I also wanted to ask you guys, so these are not some ones I specifically made, but they are pottery I can get in the shop. So this is a couple cups that I painted for, I painted at Cerama Jam. It was a sample class of bringing stoneware into the shop. So these are stoneware. These are poured as bisque, and I can order them at the shop just the same way I can do the bisque that we have at the shop. So stoneware is a little bit more durable. It's doesn't have to be 100% coated with the clear glaze to make it food safe. So once stoneware fires to the proper temperature, it vitrifies, which means this actually is not porous. It still can like have bacteria grow on it, which is why you see most of the time it's glazed on the inside. And then I have this one too. And you get, the reason you have a lot more of the organic looking glazes at the higher fire is because they, just at higher fire, the glaze tends to run a little bit more. So these are some options I can get in the shop. I'd love to bring them in. I opted at the time to do glass instead of stoneware, but I can bring these in. The stoneware is a little bit more expensive because glazes are more expensive, the clay is more expensive, the firing time is quite a bit longer, so there's a lot of factors to make it a little bit more expensive. But this is an option to bring into the shop. There's different things. Stoneware is also bake. You can bake with it, so I can get in like some pie plates and baking dishes, stuff like that. So this is just kind of like more of a traditional pottery look. It's like quite a bit heavier. Travis took this one. I was showing him these last night, and he picked it up and he's like, whoa, that is really heavy. So quite a bit heavier too. So let me know, guys, if you want to see some of this type of stuff coming into the shop. Obviously financially, we'll have to see how that goes, just because you know, whenever this gets lifted and we're able to start making money again, it'll be something we can bring in hopefully by the end of the year. But yeah, so I think that's it. Yes, custom wedding presents. So I will look into more about what glazes. So the glazes I use at the shop right now only work for cone 06, which is the earthenware. That's what bisque that we have in now is an earthenware terracotta pot. We all know that it's a little bit more fragile. So I will have to have, you know, order special glazes and stuff to have in the shop also. At home, I mix my own, usually from like a dry powder. So there's definitely things I would do differently at the shop to make sure that it's gonna come out of the kiln 100% okay. That's why I was showing you guys these little pit holes here. I don't want to sell this to you, and I also don't want to pull this out of the kiln and give it to a customer because of the danger of it. I don't mind if I cut my own lip on it, but so I think there's just a lot of more factors. Even though it's like 800 degrees difference at 2400 degrees, there's just a lot of different variables that can happen firing hotter. So there's also that. So today we're going to talk about rock painting again after yesterday. It is Good Friday, so I don't like to say Happy Good Friday because Good Friday is more of like a solemn day, but there has been a request for rock painting crosses. So I'm gonna go ahead. This is an idea. I thought the best one. Hey, Brenda. I thought the best one would be doing like a Dot Mandala cross. So we're gonna. Oops. There's all my pictures that I saved for you guys. So here's a sample of that. And then I also pre-painted. So I found when I paint my walls, I buy like a tester. So this isn't white. It's actually called Gentle Rain. Such a springtime name. So I pre-painted a rock with the Gentle Rain. as just a quick tutorial, and then I don't have black still, but I did paint a navy blue, so I'm gonna work with that. Oh gosh, I forgot to grab a palette again. I think I did this the other day. We're back to using some bubble wrap, possibly. This is ginormous. Hang on. I'm gonna rip it in half. That way the smooth side's up and I'm not getting paint stuck down inside all the bubbles. All right. I'm gonna lay that right there because hopefully you guys can see it. Oops. When I'm painting. Have another sip of coffee. Oh yeah, so I really like this one as a Pacific Northwest vibe, and I do a lot of biking, so here's another, this one's not glazed yet. So this is something I threw with the JK on the bottom, and then it's got just the bike stamp on there because we like to bike. I've started glazing this one, but most of the time with glazing like this, you got to make sure that there's no glaze on the bottom, or else. So when I put the stuff in the kiln at the shop, I'll show you guys real quick. Everything goes up on these little stilts that have little pointy, super sharp things. This is why I'm like bleeding half my life, because whenever I load or unload the shelf, somehow I snag my finger on one of these and then it's just bleeding everywhere. So this is a mug I finished this the other day and it needs to go into the kiln. Everything gets dipped in a clear glaze, and then these little guys sit on the bottom. So you don't want to have this touch, because as the glaze melts, it will become just glass, like kind of molten. And then as it cools, it will stick to the stilts, which you don't want. And so these get pulled off, and then we have a Dremel when it comes out of the kiln. And we just kind of Dremel the little knobbies. If you've done the pottery before, you'll see, if you flip it over, you'll see the little spots where we've Dremeled, because otherwise those are basically like super sharp little pieces of glass. However, the stoneware does not, so these will melt, the little metals will melt between your temperature. So our earthenware at the shop gets fired to 1800-ish degrees, and then my stoneware here at the house okay, whew, it gets fired to 2400 degrees. So these little knobbies will melt between those two temperatures, so you can't put glaze on the bottom of these guys. So you can see here, this is just raw clay, and this sits directly on the kiln shelf, because if I put this on here, if I glaze the bottom and then put this on here, the knobbies would melt, and then everything would melt together or melt to the shelf, or, you know, different things like that. That has happened in my life. So that's a random little tidbit. A little random Friday tidbit. Okay. Woo. All right, I'm gonna flip you guys down real quick. To here. I don't know, I'm trying the landscape. We're seeing how it's working. So I've got my rocks here and my paint palette here. I'm gonna flip sides because there's more light. And I'm gonna start with the white rock. And I'm just gonna do just a simple little cross with some grass and stuff like that. And again, if you haven't watched any of these videos yet, I'm using these little apple barrel acrylic paints I got at Walmart. Temper paint would work. I've also got, oh my gosh, I have everything on a shelf. So I've also got acrylic folk art paint. There's a few different brands. And then I also have Craft Smart. There's lots of different brands. You're just looking for like a basic craft paint. So I've got the apple barrel, and I'm gonna do this one's gonna be pretty traditional, and I'm gonna just kind of do it real quick. I'm gonna put out some brown and grab a flat, grab a flat brush And like I said, I've already pre-painted this with a white. I thought about not pre-painting it and just leaving it regular stone. I mean, this is kind of like really symbolic because of the stone being rolled away on Easter, the whole situation. So this one I'm just taking just a really standard, I'm super shaky, and just gonna paint a quick cross. Oh, I was gonna do a little halo in the background, but I forgot. And I'm just going to go like this. Oops. So this is why I like using my my flat brush. So see how I started here and pulled up? I have a pretty square end and started there and pulled up, but then here I started and then lifted up. So I'm actually going to take my flat brush and just start a little bit past that. So it's squared off a little bit. But now that end's a little bit longer, so I'm going to just kind of do the same over here. So there we go. So there is our cross Easter. Guys, I'm so shaky. Clearly, I might have had too much coffee again today, but nobody's really surprised because I feel like I say there's too much coffee every day. Also, I did not get my little situation with my new video streaming thing going on. I'm just gonna add some little grass down here, and because you know we don't weed eat that close around the posts. Once that dries a little bit, you can add more or whatever. And then if it dries, you can add some more information. Add some more information to your rock. So there's just a really quick, cute little Easter rock with the cross. And you could write like, "He is risen" down the side or anything like that. I know, Brenda. I have drank a lot of coffee. I think my issue on Fridays is, I'm gonna flip you guys back up for a second. My issue on Fridays is we do a merchant coffee with other merchants in downtown Centralia, and I literally, when we go to it, it's like you go at a coffee shop in Centralia and then you're sitting there and you order a coffee. But when I'm here at home, it's like I make a pot of coffee and then I drink a pot of coffee, and then I come here to you guys and I've made a second pot of coffee to keep me going. And so here we are with lots of coffee. So here's my backup pot is literally right here. Good morning, Bonnie. I'm gonna refill and then I'm gonna do some Dot Mandalas because nothing like jittery dots. Okay, refill. Woo-wee. It's Friday, guys. It's Friday. It's kind of hard. Like this week seemed like it went really fast. I think it's because it was sunny. And I was, I'm gonna flip you back down. But I think it went fast because it was sunny and I was doing stuff outside. But my goal is with this new thing that, the new program I'm looking at on doing, I'm gonna set him right up there so you guys can kind of look at him. And then bring my dot over. So this program I'm looking at using for my live videos is, I can do a picture-in-picture, so I can have you guys, looking down here at my project, but you can still see my face, because I think that's my hardest part, is just like, I'm talking to you guys, but I feel like you guys are just staring at my workspace, which is, you know, a disaster. So I'm just pulling out my dotting tools. I meant to find a pencil. Actually, I didn't mean to find a pencil. I went looking for a pencil and couldn't find one that was sharpened. So hopefully I'm gonna try out this black pencil. And I'm just gonna do a Dot Mandala cross. And if you wanna know kind of the basics of doing a Dot Mandala, my video from last week is, actually I think it was like 2 weeks ago at this point, was a Dot Mandala tutorial. It was like the second video I did, so it was way back. It was like in March. So for doing this, I Googled and I tried to look for a Dot Mandala cross, and I could not find anything that I have in my brain. So I am gonna just kind of wing this, but I'm starting with a pencil. Probably not a black colored pencil is probably not the best idea. I was going to use a graphite pencil so I could see my lines a little better. And I'm just simply starting with a cross shape just to give myself an outline. If I hold this up here, I don't know. I need better light, guys. My light maybe is on the wrong side. You can kind of see that, I think. Okay. So I'm going to throw that back down. I did not throw it. I'm not throwing it. I'm setting it. All right. And I've got my dotting tools. I've got my backup Q-tip from yesterday. So one side's dirty, one side's not. And I grabbed some different colors that I had out in the shed. Out in the shed. That's where I keep all my stuff. Yes, chalk pencils are a great idea for this, Nicole. I probably have a chalk pencil in my sewing area, but I grabbed some lighter, brighter colors because I'm doing, I'm going to flip this over and pretend like I'm not going to stick my sleeve in those other paints. Oh, Ronnie. Shake it. So I'm going to just do some lighter, brighter colors real quick. Here's my runny yellow. I don't need that one. Just because they'll stand out a little bit better on the, oh my goodness, okay, on the dark rock. And I also found this gold one out there, also from Folk Art. I have a random collection of craft paints. But yeah, chalk pencils or even a piece of chalk would work really good for this, just because it just wipes off. I'm actually going to open up my little paint sample pot. So if you guys ever need cheap paint, I mean, it's not cheap, but these little things, miniature buckets, 8 fluid ounces of paint, are available at Home Depot in whatever color your heart's desire. Oh, I also wanted to tell you guys, I painted these real quick this morning, set them on my toilet paper tube, and then just sat them out in the sun real quick so they were going to be good and dry for the video. So I did that just so they were nice and dry. Ooh, let me stick these guys up here for you too from yesterday because they're so cute. All right, so I'm going to start out with some bigger dots. And I'm going to take my gold, and like usual, I'm going to just dip it in there. And I'm going to start right in the center of the cross. If you guys want to have more, oh gosh, I don't know the word I'm looking for. I'm just going to start with that big one right in the middle. You can draw more lines. If you feel like you want to go off a better guideline, you can draw more lines. And then I'm going to take the end of my skewer and then do some smaller dots because I kind of want that halo around the middle. And so I'm dotting that one between the two, and then I'm just going to go on all the lines and then between the 2 lines, or between the 4 lines, or whatever. Is there 4 lines? Technically there's 2 lines. You guys, don't listen to what I'm saying. I am out of control. All right, so you can see how I've kind of got the halo going around the center, and I also have fluff stuck to my end of my finger. I think I'm gonna go 1 dot down on the crosses. I mean, gold is it's a good paint color for this cross. So there's the beginning of my cross. I kind of want to get some white. I wish I had white. And I don't know how to get this out. You know what, this is how I'm going to get this out. Hello, Dad. All right, I'm going to actually put the lid on here, flip it over, and then flip it back over. That's how I'm going to use this without making a huge mess, hopefully. So there's my paint in my lid. All right, so I've got the start of my cross, and oops. Now that I have just stuck my lid in the rest of my paint, I'm going to continue on down my lines. I'm so shaky. Take your time in doing this. I'm trying to be fast because this video is already longer than it should be. So I'm just continuing with a base of white dots. right to the edge. And I don't really have a pattern or an idea of what I'm doing. I'm just adding dots as I go. So as long as, I talked about this a lot in my other video, as long as you stay consistent with where you're putting the dots, it's gonna end up looking pretty cool. So there's my base of my, my cross, and I'm now going to, so when I'm using glaze at the shop, I literally just kind of clean it off on my hand, but I'm trying to do my best to stay clean. So I think now I'm going to take the end of my paintbrush, because it's a little bit in between sizes, and I'm just gonna go between all the white dots, up and down, maybe. I also talked about this in my first video, that if you look at all the mandalas I've done at the shop, you will find spots where the dots are in the wrong spot, or they're touching, or, you know, there's so many different things. And when you look at it, you probably wouldn't even know without really studying it. So if you mess up, just don't worry about it. Just keep going with it. That's part of the art of it. Dot mandalas are pretty therapeutic to do. Oh my gosh. Unless you're doing them on video, and then you feel a little bit crazed. But if you worry about too much where all your dots and stuff are going, you are gonna drive yourself crazy and defeat the purpose of being relaxed while you're doing it. Copper is outside howling. So I'm just continuing to add dots around. I'll just hold this up and show you real quick. You can come up with a better pattern. You can look online. I saw some of the ones online where they just did a dot mandala pattern. And so I'm just elaborating on what I started with, adding more dots. These people online were just, did a dot mandala pattern and then just painted a solid cross over the top. I feel like I need another color. What do I have? I have light purple, which is a good color. An Eastery color. So I'm gonna do some purple. I'm gonna go back with a smaller dot. But I think I want to kind of draw it out from the center, and I'm gonna dot, so let's see if I can hold this up and do this. I'm gonna dot 3 dots to see how they're like progressively getting a little bit smaller. 1, 2, 3. And so they're just getting a little bit smaller. I just want to elaborate on that center halo a little bit. 1, 2, 3. And you could go out farther if you wanted. 1, 2, 3. All right. And then, let's see. I'm gonna go and just do, I'm gonna actually, I don't know, I'm gonna add a couple white dots. So I don't want to lose, oh my gosh, you guys, I just stuck my finger in the paint and it's getting everywhere. So what I don't want to happen is lose the fact that it's a cross. So I think I'm gonna go back with white and just add some white dots around the center part. And again, you can use whatever colors you want. If you want to do a white, oh my gosh, you guys, paint is everywhere. It's on my fingers, it's on the rock. Okay, gather my focus. So I'm just gonna add a couple white dots just around the center. And if you wanted to even, you could go back with like a solid line and outline the cross. Make sure I don't have paint on my shirt, because I literally have it all over my hands. And then another thing you can do once these dots, I'm getting out of control. Okay, is just add like dots in the middle. So I'm adding a little bit of white. I could have used a bigger thing, but for the sake of changing daughters in time, I'm just adding a few little dots in the middle of my gold dots. Only the ones that are the cross. All right, guys, I'm gonna call this good. I'm gonna flip you up. Obviously, if you have a bigger rock, you can just keep going, but here's a good example of just an Easter rock. I maybe should have added a couple more turquoise dots right here, but you get the idea of just doing a dot mandala in a cross shape. I had also thought about flaring out the ends of each thing, kind of more like a Celtic style cross. I also have paint all over me. So that is the cross, and I'll show you again real quick if you didn't watch yesterday's video. If you have like a spray sealer, that's going to be the best thing if you want to preserve these outside. I don't have a spray sealer, but this polyacrylic is a good one, and it comes in a spray. So if you're doing rocks, I would use a spray one just because there's so little and it'll last a long time. And personally, I would do a gloss just because you want it to just be outside and be shiny. So there's also that one. You can also get, there's this one here that's just like a clear lacquer that you could spray over. But spraying is usually the best. I have all these cans because I brush on, because I did a lot of them and it's a little bit more cost effective to buy the giant one, but for rocks, a spray can will be fine. I think Rust-Oleum makes one. And again, you can go back and just do like He Has Risen or Easter 2020. But yeah, these are some fun little samples of doing, how awkward can I be? Doing some just rock painting for Easter samples. So yeah, does anybody have like any awesome Easter plans at home? I thought about ordering a quiche from Don's, but then I drug my feet too long and I'm not gonna make it. So yes, Tammy, I can't, yay. I'm glad that you were able to get a to-go kit before we had to close down. So yeah. Again, so I have the VIP group. It's on Facebook. You go to just the Black Dog Pottery Facebook page, hit, it's a sticky at the top, so it's always going to be the last post for a while. So you can just ask to join that group, and then I'll accept your request. And then so far on Wednesdays at noon, on Wednesdays we Zoom at noon. So you can just join that group and we Zoom. If you haven't Zoomed, it's more of like a face-to-face. So like all your little faces will be there, Brady Bunch style, and my face will be there. So instead of me just talking to you and then reading your comments and then talking, hopefully over this weekend I'll have some time to play around with this new program. I did the 14-day free trial, so I should probably figure out how to do that prior to my trial running out, just to see if I want to move on with it. But I've been watching a lot of live videos, just kind of like seeing how people are doing it and different things, and trying to figure out how to up my game. So again, let me know if you guys like the horizontal view better than the vertical view that I had been doing. Let me know how that works. I know like my eyes, it helps me to be able to look at myself, because then I actually feel like I'm talking to somebody. So I'm trying to remember to look at the camera when it's vertical and the camera is like right above my forehead. It's easier for me than having to look over to the side. So there's that little random tidbit. So I'm gonna run into the shop. I can't, so no worries. I will post this video later, or I'll post this video. It's also gonna be available on YouTube, and that link is will be in the description. But I don't know how far back you were at, Brenda, but I'm gonna, let's see what I'm gonna do. So I use these little dotting tools, or the tip of the paintbrush, the end of the paintbrush, and literally, here, I'm gonna flip you down real quick. So Brenda asked if how to get her dots smooth. So I'm gonna flip you back down real quick, and I'm gonna hold this up so I don't get my other dots ruined. But so I just like have kind of a puddle of paint, and you want to make sure you've got a pretty decent, not like a huge, you can see these aren't very big. Here's my finger over the top of one. But you want to make sure that you have more of a puddle than just the flat area, because you guys, there's paint on my paintbrush and now on my hand. Okay, so, but you'll just want to dot straight in and straight out, and then again, up and down. So the rock is not, let me show you. So I'm okay with this dot, and depending on the size, like a bigger one's going to be a little bit more, where'd that Q-tip go? Let's do the Q-tip. So I also use Q-tips, and so straight in of there, and then up and down. And you can see that one's a little bit, like the Q-tip obviously absorbs some of the paint, but you can go back and re-dot into it once it dries a little bit. The tip of the paintbrushes work. I have random, well, you know, I have lots of skewers at the shop. So I have the skewer that I use for dotting, but the key is to have kind of, you don't want to not have, you want to have a good amount of paint. Like if you're kind of running out, that way you get a good little globby on the end of whatever you're using as a dotting tool. So, and then just practice with that. The rocks are a little bit harder to get super smooth. I'm gonna flip you back up real quick. The rocks are a little bit harder to get super smooth dots because they are dimpled. I know that if you really wanted to get into rock painting, some people, I'm just looking at the amount of paint I have all over my arms. Some people will cover their rocks with like a primer, so you can fill in, or like a filler, so you can fill in and make them super smooth, or you could find smoother rocks. So like this one, you obviously can see there's like dimples in there. This is the rock I did yesterday, and it's a little bit more smooth. Also, it would depend on what paint you used. So if you're using an actual smooth surface like the pottery, the dots work really well. I'm trying to look to see if I grabbed anything that has dots on it from the shop. I don't see anything, but the pottery is pretty smooth, or is smooth, so it won't kind of roll off the edge of where your dimples are. But that's a great question, and now I just stuck the dot on the table. So does anybody else have any questions? Dotting is something I really like to do. It's kind of one of those Zen doodles and tingle type things, which I'm going to go over probably next week, is how to just kind of get started with Zen doodling. So yeah, I think Copper's outside howling. Yes, Q-tips are great. So, and I don't know, Brenda, if you watched my first video, which it was not my first video, but my second video, which I believe was like March 25th. You can go back through Facebook or YouTube, and I even would like my toothpick, or my thing. So I've even would take the Q-tip and pull the cotton off one end. So you've got one end that's got a little bit of a bigger dot, and then the other end is just the Q-tip, the stick part of it. So there's two different sizes of dots that you can use. So yeah, in that video from last 2 weeks ago, I can't believe it's been 2 weeks already, I show some different ideas, and I showed it. So here's kind of one of my samples from there too, on how to do it on pottery and just different dotting. There's little purple dots. Again, Sharpie burns out in the kiln, but yeah, so if you want to go back and watch that video, that's available. I'll see if I can link it in the description after I get this video uploaded. Yeah, anybody else have any questions before I head off? I burnt my hand this morning. I don't know if you can see it, but if I hold it correctly, it's actually like a perfect circle from where I stuck, I don't know how it happened, but I have like a little crimper for my hair, and I stuck it right on there. So yeah, I hope you guys all have a happy Easter. Happy Good Friday. I've got, what do you guys want to see next week for different things to watch? I'm going to try to do a Zen doodles and tingles. Some of these, I'm trying to keep the classes short, although this one is not as short as it normally is. But some of those ones, like a galaxy one, which I was going to do today until I had the request for crosses, is probably going to take a little bit longer time. But again, like you can jump on and watch part of it live if you want to. But then I've been saving them all. They're all posted to the Black Dog Pottery Facebook page and then also onto YouTube. So you can go online and watch those whenever you want. They're available. So yeah, I hope you guys all have a great weekend. Enjoy the sunshine. Stay home, stay healthy. And yeah, thank you all for watching, and happy Easter.